Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Talk of the Town podcast, where each week we bring you valuable insight and information that directly affects our local business community. I'm Danielle Hawley, and I'm the executive director of the best chamber of commerce around, the Fontana Chamber of Commerce. And I'm proud to bring you our Talk of the Town podcast with my co-host, Mr. Carlos Garcia of FYI Technologies. How's it going, Carlos?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks, Danielle.
This week, we have Adrian Francoz from ZetaSky as our guest. But in addition to being a business owner, he is also a member of our Chamber Board of Directors. Adrian, welcome to the show. We're super excited to have you.
So am I. Thanks for having me on the show. You know, it was a tough call because I had Joe Rogan invite me on the same day, and I'm like, no way. I'm joining the Fontana Chamber podcast for sure.
Totally torn,
awesome.
right? Well, I'm glad you picked us over Joe. Ours will not be as long as his, I promise you. But I know it'll be full of great information. But thank you so much for being here. And I've had the chance to spend a lot of time with you just through the capacity of you, obviously being a chamber member, but being on our board of directors. So I wanted to bring you on because technology impacts us every day. We can't escape it, right? So I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to bring my friend Adrian on, and I want him to share some great insight and information. But before we get into the nitty gritty of everything, I want you to start out by telling us about you, your family, and your company.
Awesome. Thanks. So again, thanks for having me. It's really fun that you guys are doing this. I appreciate all the effort. Carlos and Daniel, you guys are doing this is awesome for the chamber, for the community, business. So a little bit about me. Again, my name is Adrian, co-founder of ZetaSky. I grew up here in Southern California. My wife's actually from Fontana originally, so there's a connection there. We have 2 daughters. I was just telling you guys before the show, I have a teenager now, so I'm getting used to that, saying that. But yeah, just grew up here in Southern California, went to school for business, and kind of fell into this space by I wouldn't say accident. I've always loved technology, but I actually started out in the correctional industry, right, providing technology for prisons and jails, and it was definitely an interesting job. It was great, before being married and before having kids, and once I had kids, I found out that being in jail every day in prison is really not the best life for me, at least, and all that travel. So yeah, I just got into the space of learning what I applied there, and still do the same thing, working with technology with businesses and helping keep criminals, away from businesses' bottom lines and put them back in jail, hopefully.
I love it. I love it.
So let me ask you, in addition to what you just shared with us too, I always love company names. There's always a story behind a company name, right? Especially like with logos. So tell us about ZetaSky. Where did that come from?
So yeah, I get that question quite a bit, and thank you for saying ZetaSky, because a lot of times when people meet us, they just see our email address and they say ZetaSky. Is that a Russian company? No, definitely not. That was not intended.
ZetaSky. Okay, that's the new one.
Yeah. So Zeta, we kind of did a play on words. We thought, a lot of times you hear the word like beta testing, right? You're testing a new type of solution. So Zeta is sort of the last solution you're going to need. That's sort of the twist we did. And when we first started the company, everybody was using the word cloud, right? I mean, cloud means so many different things. We didn't want to use that in the name. So we decided to use Sky, the next best thing, because that's really how we started out is implementing cloud technologies in small and medium-sized companies that had, maybe 50 to 500 employees. And I say the old days, there's still a lot of companies that do this, but we would help them, get rid of racks of server equipment, right? Where they spent, hundreds, if not millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars in that equipment, and help them move that to cloud services, whether it's in a data center or, SaaS-based solutions, not to get too technical. I know, Carlos, you're technical. You and I could probably cast. But yeah, that's how we came up with the name. And then shortly after, I would say 10 years ago, we always had security in mind, but we really saw the market, unfortunately, change, where we had to really react and help companies recover from cybercrime. And now that's our primary focus.
Excellent. So tell us now, just how did you become involved with the chamber as well?
Yeah, so I've always been networking. You know, we have business nationwide. So are based here in Southern California, and so we have clients, you know, in the Fontana area, Rialto, Fulton. But really, just through networking, I had met some fellow board members that are still today on the board. Introduced me to the chamber, and at that time, the chamber needed a little help in terms of its technology. So I said, you know what, let's just help. Kind of got involved that way, and I would say about 3 or 4 years. Quite honestly, I wasn't just been busy doing business, and I wasn't as active as I should be. And Phil, our leader here at the board, was like, "You need to get involved. Come to some of these events," and offered me to get involved with the board, which has been amazing. I mean, it really, especially being a business owner, you're so tunnel visioned into your own company, right? That it's you, your customers, your employees, which is of course important, but you forget about the community, right? Other fellow business owners, the laws, right, that affect our business, and the things that we don't know that's going on behind the scene, that the chamber is so involved to help protect not just my company, but in all different industries, right? We're all an ecosystem, so that representation has been amazing to be a part of, and any influence I can offer has been really a little way to give back for me.
Well, we appreciate that. And I can attest, we use your services here, obviously at the chamber, but with several other organizations. And I have to say, you and your team at ZetaSky are just doing phenomenal things. And every time I call, they're so helpful. I feel like they know me when I call. So it's not like I'm, sometimes when you call into a company, they don't have that personal touch. I am a frequent caller. I will just say this now. And so I think I get escalated and streamlined right there. They're like, oh, Danielle's calling again. But I really do appreciate your team, very knowledgeable. So if you guys are listening and you're looking for someone to help you with some of these things, definitely reach out to ZetaSky. They do a fantastic job, and even just wiring in our internet when we've moved offices before, and then catching our phishing emails and the scam emails and all of those things that come through. You guys have just been really, really helpful. I know our cloud's gone down, and it's always right before like a big event, right? I remember right before State of the City this year, is the night before, and the girls were all in the office trying to finish everything, and the cloud just stopped working. And I called your team. You guys escalated me, had everything up and running. And so kudos to you. Thank you so much for the amazing service that you guys provide that keep our chamber up and running. We appreciate that.
Yeah. We appreciate that feedback, Danielle. And the truth of the matter is that, technology is important, yes, but it's really the people behind the technology, right? And it's not perfect. It never will be. Yeah. But we really focus a lot on that human element, right? Internally from our team, making sure we're passionate, we love what we do. And always explaining, right? How do we take technology and make it usable? And how do you actually apply it in your business? And I remember, man, when I first started, it was like, if email is down, customers say, oh, hey, our email's not working. Can you guys fix that? It wasn't so pressing. Yeah. And now if someone doesn't get an email in 30 seconds, I mean, it halts everything. So we understand how critical it is. And a lot of the things you named off are kind of what we call the necessities of what we do, right? We have to make sure those things are running and not forget to put the focus on things that you don't know about, right? The hidden things behind the scenes when it comes to security it's really the challenge, right? We're so busy in making sure things work, but you got to make sure that they're secure too.
Exactly. Well, kudos to you guys. And I tell my team here at the chamber, everything is built off of relationships. And so I truly appreciate just the culture that you've created within your company. It shows, like I said, your customer service is phenomenal. And just, having you on the board is just a reflection of that. And so we appreciate you so very much. I want to shift gears. You talked about this human element and technology. And so I'm just going to go for it. And it's in all of our faces every day. And all of us have used our chat GPT, and some of you are like, what the heck is that? Well, we're going to talk about that. I want to talk about AI. And so just what's your take on AI and the role that it has now within our business community, our day-to-day life? I don't think we can, get away from it. And, if you're scrolling through Instagram, now the new thing is we had AI create blah, 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 it's trendy. So let's talk about AI.
Yeah. So, I mean, AI, everybody's talking about that, right? And first off, it's emerging. Nobody knows exactly where we're going to go with it. But being involved in our industry, and I've gone to a bunch of different conferences over the past year, and that's a topic, right? It's always the topic, AI. First off, I think one of the biggest myths, it's going to replace everybody's job. And I would say, don't fear for that, right? Technology in the past has not replaced anybody's jobs. I think the best way to look at AI is infusing into our jobs, right? So it's a race right now. You have Microsoft, you have Google, obviously OpenAI and Microsoft kind of came together here recently in developing ways to use it. But, there are certain industries, like if you're in marketing, for example, AI is awesome, right? There's so many tools to design a new logo, right? The video technology is getting pretty good where you can send a script in, right, to certain services and they'll just generate a video for you. Now, still a little wonky, right? Still some weird things when you look at the video where like the writing in the back is sort of made up, and but it's advancing tremendously. And in our personal lives, there's tools popping up every day, right? Whether they're apps on your phone. I don't know if you've seen the one where you could just upload a picture of yourself and it creates like this beautiful portrait to use as your LinkedIn picture. So
Ooh, I should try that.
yeah, if you start thinking about it, right? If you're a photographer, you might start to get worried, like, oh no, is that going to replace me? But really, it's learning those tools, right? Where I think AI is really, really interesting is, when it comes to like sales and customer service, it's actually being used today. You may not know it, but like Tesla, for example, if you go to Tesla's website and start looking at some cars, or if you stop in at one of their sites, like at the mall, and they have your information, you may get a call from somebody saying, hey, Danielle, we noticed that you visit our site. You were looking at the, Model X. What can I answer for you? What's keeping you from placing the order? And that's AI doing that today.
Wow.
Right? And it's very hard to tell, to differentiate from a real person versus a computer that's doing that. But, and it's learning as it's having that call with you. It's learning what you disliked about the Tesla, and immediately on the 100 other calls, it's doing the computer at the same time. In real time, it's updating itself. So pretty awesome. And so, AI overall, I have a positive outlook over it. There's tools, like I said, being released. For those of you that use Microsoft, which is probably everybody listening or watching this, Microsoft just released what's called Copilot. So you literally can have an assistant with you and say, hey, what are my most important emails today I should focus on first, right?
Wow.
Or can you write a response to this email? Can you create a PowerPoint on this topic for me, right? You can have an Excel spreadsheet open and say, hey, take rows A and C, average them out and give me the percentage and create a graph for it. And so that technology is here today. It's still emerging. It just landed. So overall, I have a positive outlook on it. Now, the flip side of it, right?
The Terminator, right? That's the flip side of it.
I know. I'm thinking of all these apocalyptic movies where the technology takes over.
Yeah. And, there's lots of things being talked about in social media about how, it's going to be in the world with AI and it's going to take over and the whole Terminator aspect, and who knows, right? But one thing I know for sure that we are battling with is any great tool is used by good people and it's used by bad people. Sure. And specifically for us, what we're seeing a huge rise in is, we call them threat actors, the bad guys that use cyber as crime are using AI at an advancing rate, alarming rate. And so technology to spoof your voice. Like, for example, all of us are on this.
Tom Cruise.
Exactly. The deep fakes, right? All of us are on this video. We have video, we have audio, and it's kind of hard to get away with it, whether you're using it for work or even your personal life and social media. We've seen this firsthand where they're taking people's voice and they'll call somebody they know, deep faking their voice and also their caller ID, and trying to request important information, right? It would be like me calling you and saying, hey, Danielle, let's say we work in the same company. Hey, Danielle, it's Adrian. Real quick, I'm in a rush. Can you please give me the last social for so-and-so employee or yours or whoever? And you see the caller ID. It seems like that person. It sounds like that voice. Yeah, sure. Here it is. Right. We don't think twice. And so we call $personalization, right? You all remember, well, it's still happening, but you got the email from the Arabian prince saying, I need to send you, $40 million. And so
Right.
send me 2,000 and, right. It's like that poorly executed scam that unfortunately still worked.
Right.
Well, now with AI, these criminals can say, hey, draft me an email that I'm going to target this person and this company with the keywords that they would respond to and somebody they'd know, right? And it's going to do the work for them, right? So that's the unfortunate part, is that you know, the criminals seem to learn things faster than we do.
Yeah, and then we're trying to catch up, and
yeah, we're trying to catch up. So, you know, just my final answer for you, Danielle, is AI is great. Learn how to use the tools in your business when it comes to marketing, when it comes to productivity. You know, there's tons of resources out there, but also be careful, right? Don't just trust the screen, as I call it.
Yeah.
Especially the younger generation, right? The younger generation, I look at my kids, you know, they're in diapers and a screen, right? So everything they see on a screen or they hear on audio, it's real to them. That is reality. Sure. And so we have to really educate. And that's what, as you know, Danielle, I spent a lot of my time personally in the community and doing events to train and help people understand, be skeptical, right? Sure. And so when you're having that call, when you're seeing that video, when you read that email, text messages they're using, I mean, any way that they can communicate with you, the bad guys are going to use AI more effectively. So
yeah. That's so true. And things that make our life simpler, right? Can, you know, great tools, but we have to be wary and cautious, and you just use discernment. And can we talk a little bit about that? One of the things that you do every year, and for the past few years, the Chamber's got the opportunity to partner with you for your cybersecurity summit, because these are amazing opportunities for our general public to come in and be able to connect with experts in various fields. But there is just so much vital information that you guys share at these seminars. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, no, I'm glad you brought that up. So for those of you who don't know, October is National Cybersecurity Awareness Month, right? It's actually put on by an organization called the National Cybersecurity Alliance. We happen to be their security provider, right? They chose us last year. And that's so
huge, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. It took a while. We were selected out of a few different companies nationally. So that was awesome. But because of that, now these cyber summits, as you saw last year, are just becoming much, much bigger. We're getting a lot of resources funneled in, but essentially what it is since October is Cyber Awareness Month, we put on a local event. We call the Inland Empire Cyber Summit, and the National Security Cyber Alliance, they come out. They're located in Washington, D.C. They'll fly out and actually attend. We get the FBI Cyber Division to come out and attend. And then CISA, which is like the Homeland Department security, but specific to cyber. And really, we take everything we learned in that year, right? The latest data, the latest breaches. We even have company like IT directors in the past have gotten involved, or business owners have gotten up on stage and shared their story. And, you know, it's not just to promote our company. It's all, I mean, there's students that attend. There's, of course, business owners, faculty from colleges, instructors. We actually have the local high school computer science teachers come out. We want them to learn. We want them to hear firsthand, because it's one thing to take a course or read out of a handbook, but in that, it's typically about a 2 or 3 hour event. We serve lunch. You know, about 100, 150 people attend, and you get to hear in that, you know, 2 hour period, a whole year's worth from the private sector, from law enforcement, from the government, what is actually happening, right? And at the very end, everyone's provided resources, right? The government has free resources. In fact, we're involved right now with the National Cyber Alliance. They're putting on a 6-week course. I can provide you guys more information. They're putting a 6-week course. It's across the country. Any business owner can apply. And it's just to get that business owner up to speed in 6 weeks. They take a 1 hour a week course. It's not a webinar. Actually, there's an instructor. We're involved in helping them create some of the curriculum for them to understand, hey, here's the basics you need to know as a business owner, because at the end of the day, you're responsible, right? You're responsible for your data. You're responsible for your employees. You're responsible for your profit too, that you can't lose. You can't continue your business. Sure. And so, yeah, there's resources, not just from us as a company, that are available, right? The government's putting out. So yeah. And you guys have been great in the chamber of helping us promote that. So if you're listening, if you're watching, there's plenty of time. You know, we'll be promoting this year's summit. You've got to attend.
I love it. Thank you so much, Adrian. Yeah, and if you can get that information to us here at the chamber, remember, we're the advocate voice resource for our local business community. So any way that we can continue to do that, and by Adrian providing meaningful opportunities for our members to engage regarding cybersecurity, we'd love to pass that along. But mark your calendars, you guys, for October, because this is an event that you do not want to miss. And it's amazing. I wish we could do them. I know it's a big endeavor to put it on, but I feel like technology changes so quickly and rapidly. And so just that once a year update is amazing. But we had talked offline about this, just because you're in it. This is what you do. Having you pop on here, a couple times a year, just to maybe give our members some updates in our business community, just with some things that you're seeing, because things are happening at such a rapid pace. But October, you don't want to miss the Cyber Summit. Amazing information. I'm always I know it's out of my realm of expertise of what I do, but I can get a hold of it. Okay. So it's something that's accessible, information that's accessible, whether or not you're in the IT world. We all deal with technology every day. So I promise you will benefit from it. Stay tuned for that. But we wanted to just kind of wrap up. How can people get a hold of you, your company? And besides the Cyber Summit, just briefly, are there any other opportunities coming up this year for people to engage with ZetaSky?
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously our website's the best place to get a hold of us, ZetaSky.com. Our information's there. My email address is pretty simple. It's Adrian@ZetaSky.com. But we have, if you go on our website, you can get onto our social media. We'll add you to like a mailing list. So one of the things we do is we mail out for people who are interested cyber tips as often as every week to kind of keep people updated. But we do events. In fact, tomorrow I'm doing a webinar with the National Cyber Alliance. I know it's probably going to be already done by the time this airs. But get on there, get on our website, get on social media, follow us on LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitter. And we're doing smaller events throughout the year. So we do lunch and learns like at steakhouses or at law firms that might be industry specific. So yeah, just stay tuned. But that's the best way is go to ZetaSky.com. And there you can link to our LinkedIn page if you're on LinkedIn, which I hope most of you are, or Facebook. And you'll stay up to date on any event.
Excellent, man.
Perfect. Well, Adrian, thank you so much for taking your time out of your busy schedule to be with us today. We will have you on before October for sure. And that will be a good update and just to kind of plug the summit again. Last week, we heard from Raj Sangha, our chairman of our board of directors. Adrian, thank you for being with us this week. Next week, stay tuned, you guys. We have Twanisha Pete, the operations manager of Bebop. You don't want to miss that episode. So much great information. Once again, thank you for tuning in, you guys. We appreciate you. Thanks for being a part of our chamber family. And Adrian, thank you again for taking the time today and joining us as a guest on our Talk of the Town podcast.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Adrian.
It was fun. Thanks, Carla.
Fascinating, man, for sure.
All right. Thank you.